Zach Remillard, he continues to be useful, Jim. So in this 3-game series, Remillard goes 3 for 8 because he walked 4 times. So 3 base hits, 4 walks, got on base 7 times in this series, which is fantastic. Ever since he's joined the White Sox, he's 15 for 38 with 6 walks and 8 RBIs, which means that Remillard's hitting .395 with a .489 on base percentage, and he's slugging .474. There's not a lot of pop in the bat for Zach Remillard. Definitely not home run power. I say that, now watch him hit 4 home runs this upcoming homestand. It's more double, it's more gap to gap, it's more hustle double power for Zach Remillard. However, the White Sox desperately needing hot hands to help support Luis Robert and Andrew Benintendi, because so many guys in his lineup could really go cold. We have talked about it many times about just all these options they have thrown at second base, and nobody is sticking for the White Sox. Well, here's Remillard. He's been very useful since that Seattle series, pretty much winning that game for the White Sox coming off the bench, and he continues to be useful. The question that I've been posed on social media, and I want to get your thoughts, Jim, is about staying power. Is this for real, or is this a Danny Mendick 2.0 that we're talking about when watching Remillard?
I don't think it's for real. I'd like to say it's for real because I don't know if you've heard this from me, but he played his high school ball in Troy, a Capital Region guy.
You're becoming the Charlie Tilson when it comes to Zach Remillard. Did you know that Charlie Tilson played high school ball in Chicago?
Yeah, he's my former local product. I have to tout that. But no, I think 2 things that jump out to me. Positive, negative. Positive is that like he has an idea of the strike zone. And part of me wonders, like, again, as we mentioned with Tim Anderson, Oakland series, Oakland pitching staff, like the Oakland pitching staff meets somebody like Zach Remillard halfway. Kind of like the way Jesse Schultens meets Oakland's lineup halfway and Tanner Banks does, to where like, if they break a drought of 10 hit games or 10 hits in a game because they get those hits off Tanner Banks and Jesse Schultens, that's not really an insult. That's guys, they have the best chance of hitting. So, hey, good for them. They did it. Same with Zach Remillard. Like if he's having a good series against Oakland, he should, because that pitching should kind of look familiar to him. Like, I don't know, like the Norfolk pitching staff, like a really good AAA team, Durham, the Tampa Bay prospects they run out there. Like he might have seen relatively equal pitching staffs in the International League. So he should, have the kind of series where he's drawing walks and getting on base because he's just has some semblance of an idea. So there's that. I think the thing I like about him is like he does provide a little bit of a control in terms of like, here's a guy with decent plate discipline. Here's how, if he's drawing walks and nobody else is, and he shouldn't scare any pitcher, what are we doing with the rest of our lineup? Like, what are we doing with just our development and the players we evaluate, the players we bring in the organization? Like maybe we should have like a real heart-to-heart talk among ourselves about just, we can't keep going on like this. If Zach Remillard can like walk laps around the rest of the lineup just by being somebody who doesn't, can lay off 2 pitches out of the zone in a row. So that I like, and that feels somewhat sustainable. I think just the lack of power and the lack of pop, I think ultimately those guys end up getting the bats knocked out of their hands. And like even this 2-run single was deflected, a pinball one off the left side of the infield.
It was, yeah.
And put the ball in play, hit it reasonably hard, but still just more about placement than about exit velocity. And, Ozzie Guillen will say, he shows you don't need exit velocity, but time shows, that just, you can't get by in weak singles all the time. Like Luis Arias is an exception for a reason. Like he's just all about, even if he doesn't have, power in the classic sense, like he has barrel control. He gets barrels to balls and just can redirect them in all sorts of crazy ways. Whereas, Remillard is not Luis Arias. So, that's why I doubt he has staying power. But the thing that, I wrote about this saying that you really can't think that far ahead with the crisis the White Sox are in with the infield. Tim Anderson being, having weak pulse right now. Elvis Andrews, like that error in the in extra innings, like that's a case of like, why are you even here? Like if you're making rookie mistakes in games that you need to win, and your OPS starts with a 5, like what's the point? Why are you getting at bats here? he's like the infield Clint Frazier, I think, in which if they made a roster move tomorrow, like, yeah, I get it. There's just, it's not there seems to be nothing there. Remillard just coming in and providing any kind of competency. I would say enjoy every game it happens. And if it happens 2 games in a row, like, be happy fourfold, because it just, it's kind of exponential happiness in terms of him delivering, because they had so many options going into the season about second and third base with Lenine Sosa and Romy Gonzalez, Elvis Andrus, Jose Rodriguez, if he was healthy from the get-go. And like Zach Remillard's a guy stepping up. Like, on one hand, like, that's not good, but as long as he's delivering, like, great. Don't ask questions. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, etc. Just appreciate every game it's happening. Be wary that it might be wary of the threat that he might go into a really quiet slump where he has a lot of 0 for 4s with no strikeouts, but just like he's just hitting routine outs the way that Tim Anderson kind of is right now, with ground balls left side and line drives always to the same spot to right field. That's kind of my fear with Remillard, but for the time being, great. Keep it up. Go Troy.
Yeah. Flavor of the month. That's the way I described it. And the White Sox have had this over the last couple of years. Like, somebody surprises you, they have a hot month, and people think they got staying power, and then they fizzle. So I'm with you, Jim, but he's got a hot hand. He should be in the lineup. Keep him in the lineup, Pedro. You said that when you got hired, you play the hot hands, and you kind of do that. Continue to play Zach Remillard at second base until he hits that cold streak. You don't got anyone else right now that is threatening Remillard's playing time.
Well, 2021 was built on these hot streaks.
It was
Jake Mercedes to Jake Lamb to Gavin Sheets to Adam Engel to Jake Berger, like all these like great 2 weeks back to back to back. Like, Zach Remillard is providing that kind of impact. But unfortunately, like, everything the White Sox needed from those guys were pretty much concentrated to right field and DH. And right now, there are so many problems that Zach Remillard, like, he solves second base, but third base when Jake Berger is really struggling, shortstop when Tim Anderson's really struggling, right field when there might not be anybody, like when Gavin Sheets is your best option, goes on and on and on. And that's, Remillard does not have that kind of impact to give like a 2021 type boost, but he's just one man.